So this video we are going to work on multiplying polynomials together. So just a flashback. So I'm going to say flashback. This is a flashback to Math 8. All right, so just want to make sure that you remember this. If we are multiplying x to the third times x squared, whenever we multiply variables together, the rule is that we add the exponents. Now, the reason is because x to the third would mean x times x times x, and x squared would mean x times x. And if we're multiplying that to that, we end up with x to the fifth. So the rule is when we multiply with variables, we're going to add the exponents together. Okay, let's say we had 3n to the ninth, and we're going to multiply that with 7n. All right, now remember the rule with the exponents applies with variables or when the base is the same. So if we have 3 times 7, that's just 21, like it was when you were in elementary school. And now we're going to multiply n to the ninth times n. Well, remember that this is an understood 1 right here, so I'm going to make it a little invisible there. So if we multiply n to the ninth times n, we're going to get n to the 10th. All right, one more and then we'll move on. Let's say we had m squared times 2m to the fifth. All right, so in this case, remember that there is an understood 1 right here that we typically don't write the 1 because we don't need to, because 1 times anything is anything. So we don't need 1m squared because that truly isn't simplified if there's a 1 there. So we know that there's an understood 1. So 1 times 2 would be 2. M squared times m to the fifth would be m to the seventh. So that's just a quick flashback on what you guys learned last year in Math 8. All right, so now here we go with multiplying polynomials. So we're going to start off multiplying a binomial with a trinomial. So example 1. All right, let's say we had 3a to the third. And let's multiply that with 2a squared plus a minus 5. Okay, all this is distributive property. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do some color coding here, is I am going to distribute 3a cubed to 2a squared, and then I'm going to distribute 3a cubed to the a, and then I'm going to distribute 3a cubed to the negative 5. So 3a cubed multiplied by 2a squared is going to give me 6a to the fifth. All right. Now I need to multiply 3a cubed to the positive a, so that's going to be a positive 3a to the fourth. And then I need to distribute 3a cubed to negative 5, and that is going to be negative 15a cubed. All right, so now at this point I need to pause, and I need to determine if I have like terms that I would be able to combine together. So remember, when we add and subtract polynomials, that means that we need to have like terms. And by like terms, we mean that it is identical variable and exponent. So just because all of these have a's does not mean that they are like terms. So I need to determine if these 3 terms are in fact like terms, but they're not. So this is my answer. Now, we talked about the proper order of your answer should be highest exponent first and then descending from there. All right, let's go to example number 2. So let's try, let's see, how about negative 2m to the 7th, and we're going to multiply that with 6m squared minus 9m plus 1. All right, so again, all this is distributive property. So first, I'm going to multiply these two guys together. And when I multiply those together, I'm going to get negative 12m to the 9th. All right, next up, I need to multiply these two together. So I need to multiply negative 2m to the 7th with negative 9m. That's going to give me positive 18m to the 8th. And then last step is multiplying those two together. So I need to multiply negative 2m to the 7th with a positive 1, which is going to give me negative 2m to the 7th. And again, I need to look for like terms. When I look at these, they all have m's, but they're not considered like terms because remember, like terms would have the same variable and exponent. So this is the answer, and it is in the correct order because it's highest exponent and then descending from there. All right, for example 3, I want for us to multiply two binomials together. So, example 3. All right, let's do 9n plus 2 multiplied by 3n minus 4. All right, so this is a binomial multiplied to a binomial. So what's going to happen here is basically we have to do distributive property twice. Because what I need to do is I need to take this 9n and multiply it to those two. And then I need to take this 2 and multiply it to those two. So I have to do distributive property twice. Okay, so first up, I'm going to temporarily cover this up. I have to multiply 9n to 3n minus 4. And when I multiply 9n to 3n minus 4, I'm going to get, so let me cover that up, I'm going to get 27n squared minus 36n. Okay? Now, I'm going to multiply, I'm going to cover this up, and now I need to distribute 2 to the 3n minus 4. So that means I need to multiply 2 to 3n and then 2 to negative 4. So when I do that, I'm going to get 6n minus 8. So a positive 6n minus 8. All right, so now I need to check and see if there are any like terms. So remember, like terms are going to happen when I have a variable with exactly the same exponent. So when I look right here, I have like terms right here. I'm going to tell you that probably 95% of the time we're going to have like terms. Not always, but a good portion of the time we will. So the final answer to this is going to be 27n squared. I combine the n's together to get negative 30n minus 8. And that is going to be my final answer because I have no like terms left over, highest exponent, and then descending from there. All right, let's try one more of these. So, for example number 4, so example 4. Okay, let's say that we had 7e plus 2f, and let's multiply that with 4e minus 9f. All right, so you can see I have two variables, not a big deal. Again, I'm multiplying a binomial with a binomial. So, first thing I need to do is to cover this up, and I need to distribute the 7e to the 4e minus 9f. So right here, all I'm doing is distributive property. So when I multiply 7e with 4e minus 9f, I'm going to get 28e squared minus 63ef. Okay? All right, next thing I need to do is distribute the 2f to 4e minus 9. So I need to multiply those together. So when I multiply these together, I get a positive 8ef minus 18f squared. All right. Now, last thing I need to do is look for like terms. And here I have like terms right there in the middle. So, my final answer is going to be 28e squared. Now, keep in mind that ef is actually going to come next because e squared is the highest exponent, and then e would come after that. So this is going to go next in our descending order. So if I have a negative 63 plus 8, that should be negative 55 ef minus 18f squared. And again, this is the proper order because e squared comes before f. E comes before f. So e squared is going to go first, and then I'm going to go descending order of e's. And it's going to naturally happen that as the e's go down, the f's are going to go up. But you'll see that more over the next few months. So that is the final answer. So when we multiply polynomials, I'm just going to put some bullet points out here. So we're going to multiply the coefficients. We're going to add the exponents on the variables. Add exponents on variables. And then basically all we're doing is using distributive property. So you just need to pay attention to whether you have a monomial that you're distributing or a binomial that you're distributing. So if you have a binomial, you have to do distributive property twice. Now, we are going to extend this, and we're going to multiply binomials to trinomials and even trinomials to trinomials, but we're going to keep that for our next lesson. Okay, as always, if you need to go back and re-watch the video to make sure that you understand, please do, and when you're ready, you can move to the practice.